Tires matter. They're the only part of your vehicle that touches the road. Tread confidently with new tires from Tire Rack. Whether you're looking for expert recommendations or know exactly what you want, Tire Rack makes it easy. Fast, free shipping, free road hazard protection, convenient installation options, and the best selection of BF Goodrich tires. Go to TireRack.com to see their BF Goodrich test results, tire ratings, and reviews, and be sure to check out all the special offers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
If Republicans do not like the law, they can go through the regular channels and processes to try to change it. That's why we have elections. So they can go through the normal processes and procedures of a democracy, but you do not threaten the full faith and credit of the United States of America. Shutting down the government just because you don't like a law that was passed, I have to say, no Congress before this one has ever in history been irresponsible enough to threaten an economic shutdown, to suggest America not pay its bills, just to try to blackmail a president into giving them some concessions. I will not negotiate on anything when it comes to the full faith and credit of the United States of America. We're not going to submit to this kind of total irresponsibility. Congress needs to pay our bills on time. Congress needs to pass a budget on time. Congress needs to put an end to governing from crisis to crisis.
You were asked today if you will defer your paycheck during the shutdown. Obviously, a lot of federal workers, TSA agents are going without paychecks. Have you made a decision on that yet, sir?
I'll be commenting on that shortly, but I understand the sacrifice that people are making, including Capitol Police officers here, and I'm going to conduct myself accordingly, given that sacrifice.
So that sounds like a yes, that you will defer your paycheck.
Well, I have more to say about that shortly, but I think consistent with the values that I just articulated.
Well, we're still waiting for Hakeem Jeffries to make some kind of statement. He hasn't. Welcome, my friends, to the Saturday Morning Vibe. 800-848-9222 is how you reach us. 800-848-9222. Princess Diana will be here later on. In fact, Lizzie Radabali, we're expecting to be with us later on. Just heard from Lizzie. And America's Small Caffeinated Mom will make a return on today's program as well, along with your calls. 800-848-9222. Hope you had a great Halloween. Those of you that, Halloween is turning into some kind of phenomenon that it never was when I was. It's like you start seeing Halloween week. It's like it's almost as, they're trying to make Halloween as big as Christmas. It's insane. Or bigger than Thanksgiving. Of course, we are now entering the second month of the government shutdown. We opened the program today with Barack Obama. When he was in office, Republicans had threatened to shut down the government over Obamacare, and he went on a rampage. Everything that he said is what Democrats have now done. They blackmailed the government, they've extorted the government, et cetera, et cetera. By the way, also today, we're going to be talking entitlements with author Paul Stone. We have that coming up in the next hour. Paul wrote a book. I had him on the weekday show a while back. Basically tracing, again, his opinion and tracing a lot of the ills of the financial systems around the world to Richard Nixon's, decision to take America off the gold standard and to basically moving away from tangible assets to back the economy to just printing, creating money. And so that's a very exciting topic. We've talked about that. But today, with Paul, we're going to talk about entitlements. And entitlements are just all part of everything. In fact, there is a story this morning. As many of you know, yesterday we had two different judges from locations where Republicans have zero representation, by the way, in Massachusetts and in Rhode Island, Republicans have no representation whatsoever, heavily gerrymandered, even though in some cases believed to be 40% of the population, zero representation. Liberals don't care about that, as they always talk about gerrymandering, could care less that Republicans have been gerrymandered against for ages. But you have these two judges that have decided that they should be president, and President Trump is actually, his response is quite interesting. And they have decided that, yeah, you cannot withhold the contingency funds that are meant for things like natural disasters for this political disaster. And that's what it is. This is a policy disaster. This is not a natural disaster. So the funds now, according to these two judges, have to be restored for SNAP benefits, give them their bennies. And, okay. And Donald Trump, has said it's his honor. He doesn't want to see people go hungry. And the administration is asking now, how do you want us to implement this? Since you guys, you judges are running the show, I just want to make a note that if, God forbid, I would say and God forbid, if the United States experiences some kind of calamity before this government can be reopened, the kind of calamity that struck the people in the Caribbean this week, Jamaica pretty devastated, as well as Haiti, Cuba, by hurricane. If we had some sort of natural disaster and people needed to be fed, there's no money in the till now because of this political disaster the Democrats have created. I wonder if the judges would consider paying out of their own pockets to make sure that Americans are taken care of, since the judges are in charge, apparently. But here's something that I think should disturb everybody. An article from NBC, will my food stamps renew? Across the country, a chorus of desperation and anger. I get the desperation part very well. Anger. The beneficiaries of you that actually work, that pay taxes, are being dealt with anger because benefits might be delayed, or in some cases they were threatened to be denied, while Democrats wage their war on Trump and on America. It has been a tumultuous week for the roughly 42 million people across this country who rely on federal food assistance. And that, number one, ought to be scary. The fact that just rolls off the tongue and we all accept it, that there are 42 million in a nation of over 300 million, 42 million of them rely on the government, are dependent on the government for food. And that ought to petrify people. Some breathed a tentative sign of relief on Friday after a Rhode Island judge ordered the Trump administration to keep funding the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program nationwide. The Agriculture Department would no longer pay benefits, commonly known as food stamps, because Democrats took the country hostage. That's not what it says in the article. That's what I'm saying. People still have to figure out ways to do things while this blows over, said Danielle Sultan, a single mom of five who lives in Mississippi, who would face an $833 gap. She's picking up gig shifts, delivering Amazon packages this week to make sure her family doesn't go without. Well, good for you. Exactly. You're working. to make sure your family doesn't go. We've been back and forth with Trump, she said. How is Trump responsible for you having 5 children that clearly you cannot afford? But no, let's blame Trump. You're not angry at maybe the baby daddies that haven't contributed to make sure that their children and your children can eat. It's Trump's problem. Trump is the one to blame. Single mother of 5 who made the choice, apparently more than one occasion, to open up and let a man in and had an offspring. And by the way, we celebrate life here. So I'm not mad at the fact that life has been created. Life is God's gift. But it is also, God gave us the sense of discrimination and discernment. So you're going to get mad at Trump because the Americans who do work every day, who make decisions, who are responsible and lead responsible lives that are funding all of this, the Democrats have decided that they should be punished. So you blame Trump. In Wisconsin, Carmen Hernandez told her 4 children that they may need to get by on just beans and tortillas. Imagine that. You may have to get by with food. You might have to actually just get by with food. Valerie Buck collected donations from a food pantry to feed her family of 10. 10. In Indiana, Matthew Corbett, who had $1.04 left in his SNAP account, was prepared to sell his TV for food money. Why do I have to pick between paying for daycare or paying for a meal with my daughter? Said Louise Graves, a single mom in Lebanon, New Hampshire. Where's your baby daddy? Why do I have to pick between paying for daycare? This, my friends, they're angry. I think the wrong people are angry here. Now, let me be really clear about something. I am all in and support for the idea that we should not let our neighbors, not let souls on this earth go hungry. And I think most of us want to lead compassionate lives where we feel that we are totally willing to help people who need a hand up, people that find themselves in situations beyond their control where they need assistance. That is totally in keeping with the values that most of us are raised with, that most of us believe we should have. And I am not some kind of expert that can tell you of the 42 million people that are on this food stamp benefit, how many of them are truly in need and how many are scamming the system. We do know that scamming the system, apparently from what we've been told and seen on social media, is a big deal. We know that. We also know something else. And before we head to the break, I want you to grab cut 6, Kelvin. And we also know that there are a lot of people that are on food stamps. Well, here's Representative Randy Fine, and he has something to say about some of the recipients that are on the SNAP program.
Look, I'm introducing a bill that says if you're not an American, you can't get SNAP. It's not just illegal immigrants that are getting some of these benefits. It's legal immigrants. And frankly, if you're coming to America because you want to move here, you shouldn't be asking our taxpayers for free stuff. We spent $6 billion last year giving SNAP to immigrants, legal or otherwise. And we need to stop that. And President Trump is moving in that direction. But I think we need to take a hard look. SNAP is supposed to help you when you're in a pinch. It's not supposed to be a way of life, and it's not supposed to be a dependency. And based on how some people are talking about it, it clearly is. So I think we do need to go back and look at the program, but we can't do that in the midst of a government shutdown. We need to get the government open. People need to get over their temper tantrum about Donald Trump, and we need to get back to work.
Yeah.
James Golden, Snerdley, with you here. It is the Saturday Morning Vibe.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Golden Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Let us revisit something here again. This anger that's in, and what Donald Trump has said about these SNAP benefits. I don't want Americans to go hungry just because radical Democrats refuse to do the right thing and reopen the government. So therefore, I've instructed our lawyers to ask the court how to clarify how we can legally fund SNAP as soon as possible. And the president said, so it's going to go back. There's supposed to be another court hearing on Monday. He said that even if he tapped into the emergency fund, SNAP benefits would be delayed for the month of November. He's asking people to call the Democrats and tell them to reopen the Democrats. The story here from The Hill says the president has previously tapped additional funding sources to pay members of the military, including a private source. A citizen stepped up, one of the Mellon heirs, and $130 million to make sure the troops got paid, not Democrats. I played a heart-wrenching, and I'm going to play it again, from a woman who could not see her way through the big Halloween weekend with her kids. A worker, a government worker, one of these furloughed government workers. The largest union for federal workers has urged Democrats, stop this. The air controllers union, stop this to Democrats. In fact, there was an incident at LaGuardia last night. Two planes clipped each other. There was a stand down, a ground at JFK because of staffing problems. People are being hurt by this shutdown. James Golden, Snerdley, 800-848-9222. Your calls are coming up as well as we move along here on the Saturday Morning Vibe. Whatever you do, keep it here.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hey, y'all quit panicking, man. We black, we white, we Chinese, we done been before. You know what I'm saying? We done been broke. Hey, it ain't nothing to it. November 3rd, stamps will be getting cut off. I need everybody to meet me at Walmart, 6:30, 7 o'clock, 7:30. We walking out that thing. Fill your buggy up, man. Run. Just get ready to run. You know what I'm saying? Have your car parked a block away. As long as you can run a block, we can get away. So look, quit panicking. It's going to be all right. Everything is going to be all right. Everything is going to be all right. Put your running shoes on. November 3rd, 6:30. Hey, man, meet me at Walmart, Myers, whichever one close to y'all. So we gonna get it going, man. They want to see it. We gonna stick together. We got to show them, hey, we gonna stick together and we gonna run together. So, hey, man, get it together. This ain't nothing we ain't never been through.
James Golden starting with you Saturday Morning Vibe, 800-848-9222. A little bit later on in the program, Princess Diana is going to join us. Paul Stone is going to be here today. Our own Lizzie Radabali is going to be here. America's small caffeinated mom. Your calls. I better get you some calls quickly. Time is flying. But I do want to play one thing, folks, and just bear with me. We played this yesterday. And I said I was going to play it again. It's a little bit longer than the cuts we usually play. But I want you to hear this for a reason, because this is who Democrats could care less about. This woman. I'm going to go to cut 27, Kelvin. This woman, she is a furloughed government worker. And I'm telling you, look, folks, I've been doing radio since I was a kid. I've been following news, a heavy news consumer since I was a kid. I have heard every sob story you can hear. I'm sad to say cynical when I hear a lot of it because of what I know are the underlying politics behind some of it. And this one struck my heart so hard for a lot of reasons. And I just wanted to play it again for those of you who haven't heard it. And this is who Democrats are really hurting a lot with their, and by the way, they don't care. You notice all this, they run to court for food stamps. But this woman, they could care less about.
It's day, I think, 29 of being furloughed, and Halloween's in 2 days, and I'm just now going to get my kids' Halloween costumes because I have not had the funds for that. Like, just genuinely, we have not had the funds for that. The only reason I'm even able to do this now is because I had to pull from my retirement, and mind you, I have only been there less than a year, so I asked them, what do y'all want? And they're showing me things, and I'm like, we can't get the $30 costume y'all are wanting right now because there's 4 of y'all, it's not feasible. We don't know how long this is gonna last. And I'm just so, like, ashamed, like I did something wrong. And it's so hurtful because I get the cause, I get the reason why. And I know people are going through a lot with SNAP benefits being possibly cut. I get it. But most, if not all, I'm willing to bet federal employees before this did not receive SNAP benefits or any type of assistance, period. And now with everything happening, and you know it takes forever to get, trust and believe, like, I worked myself up to get here where I'm at. I've been on food stamps. I did everything right. I was in the Army. I've done everything. I'm 31 years old, and I have 5 months left on my master's. Like, I've done everything right. The circumstances I've had to deal with in life, I beat those odds time and time again. And nobody cares. Nobody sees us at all. It's like we're put to the back burner. And now everybody's making a fuss because of that going away, which again is horrible, should not, period. Like, point blank, I've been on there. I get it. You do what you gotta do, but what about us? What about us? What about us? We have kids. Like I said, we're not getting benefits. We're not. And the money's not coming in. Apply for jobs, bro. You don't think that's what I'm doing. You don't think that's what I'm doing. They don't call. And you heard my credentials. I have so many freaking certifications in IT, CCNA, Security Plus, you name it, I have it. Go Uber. If y'all didn't hear my story about my cars, you would know why I can't Uber and stuff right now. I'm in a freaking rental car. And I'm not crying because I can't buy the $30 Halloween costume. That's not the point. The point is, like, anyways, let's go to Walmart. Let's try to find a weekend find.
Nobody cares. That's what she says. I've done everything right. I served my country in the military. I've gone for higher education. Even now, she's trying to do and telling her kids, look, can't afford this. We have to be prudent. I have 4 kids. I'm trying to manage the situation. This is not an irresponsible woman. This is not somebody that hasn't worked to achieve the American dream. And the Democrats are excrementing all over this woman, and they could care less. Government employee. Now today, she's looking and seeing where the attention of the Democrat Party is. Let's make people, in some cases, who are willing to rob, steal, sell their benefits. We've heard all kind of stories. Let's make illegal immigrants who have come into this country illegally, make sure they get their benefits. But this woman, her family, people like her, could give a, almost said a bad word. There's something very wrong with the way our values are turning in this country. I'll tell you that. There's something very, very wrong. And I got more to say on this food stamp business because I'm going to tell you something. These stories that I keep seeing, I'm angry because my benefits are not coming. And you look at the pictures and you look what's being posted on social media. Number one, some of them, and I don't mean to, I'm not trying to stereotype 42 million people. It may be a small percentage. I don't know what the percentage is of people that legitimately need food stamps and who don't. And I am not trying to denigrate anybody that legitimately needs help from the government and is grateful for it and we have an obligation to help people that are truly in need. Some of the people that I have seen that are raising their hands on social media, number one, they look like they could do for a few weeks without some food, number one. I'm just saying. And don't get mad at me because there are times I look at myself, I say, you could do without food for a few days, pal. But then you look at some of it's disgraceful. And it should be embarrassing. But nobody seems to be embarrassed. Let's head to the telephones. I asked people to call. I want to get some calls in. Let us begin in Denver, Colorado with John. Welcome, John. How are you? Welcome to the Saturday Morning Vibe. How are you?
Well, good morning, Mr. Snerdley. I'm doing good. I'm just coming back from New Mexico, heading back to Denver in my big old truck here. I just wanted to call and say, I hear a lot about how, everybody's coming together to try to get these people, food in in certain places. And I don't hear much from Chucky Schumer or Nancy Napoli or whatever, about how they're coming together, and pitching in for these people that don't have food, but they have, at least 6 babies and no daddy mamas. And
they have daddy. You mean baby daddies, not daddy mamas. That's all. Daddy mamas doesn't. Well, I would say that in the old days, daddy mamas didn't exist, but today, of course, they do exist. But that's a whole other thing that we're not going to get into. But I hear you. And what are Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi doing? Pelosi's running them off. By the way, Pelosi's not the head of the Democrats in the House anymore. Supposedly, it's Hakeem Jeffries. And all they are doing is what they've been doing. They're the ones, both of them from New York City, Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, and they're the ones that instigated all of this. And even the Washington Post had an editorial this week noting the fact that part of what's going on here are the political pressures that Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer are feeling from their progressive base that appears poised, by the way, to give the nation Mondani if the numbers are correct with that. So they're doing all they can to cause this disruption. It's not like they're not doing anything. Those 2 men are the culprits behind this effort that is just at this moment causing massive disruption across the country. John, please be safe on the roads out there as you travel in your big truck. And thank goodness energy prices and gasoline prices are lower. Steve in Bed-Stuy, New York. Thank you for calling, Steve. How are you this morning?
Great. I want to help protect the fellow EBT users. There's something called EBT Edge, ebtedge.com, provided by the state that will lock your card. At the beginning of the month, the theft that goes on every year, you know how much is stolen per year from SNAP?
I know it's an organized effort and it runs into billions of dollars or millions, multi-millions. And by the way, you're talking to, hold on. This show is in a lot of places. So you're around the country. So you're talking to the people in the New York area about what they can do, correct? This is a state program?
Well, the plain fact is that since we have balances on our EBT cards, those aren't going to, I don't believe those are disappearing. We're not getting any more. But the thieves that have been stealing will look for more places to steal when the money starts drying up. And if you buy food from little places that the Russian mafia or somebody can strong arm to get their EBT information, they're going to start stealing from other places. The best bet is either to lock your card with EBT Edge, and you can go on to ebtedge.com and do that and sign up, or just buy at one or two very large places like, the local big supermarket, because that's a chain. You understand? If you buy from the place that sell hot food that are breaking the law, you deserve to have your SNAP benefits stolen, and it cannot be reimbursed.
Wow. This is an education for me. I knew nothing about this because, frankly, I'm not there. Let me ask you another question, Steve, while I have you on the line. Clearly, you are using the SNAP benefits. Let me just ask you this. What's your reaction when you see, or if you have seen, the people on social media and the people, we play some of them here, demanding organized theft of big retail outlets if their SNAP benefits are interrupted? What kind of reaction do you have to that, Steve?
When people are hungry, they will go anywhere they need to eat. So
you don't find a problem with that?
I don't like it.
You don't have a problem with people suggesting that they should go in and steal?
Oh, certainly it's a problem. Yeah, that's totally wrong. So we have to give them what they need and reopen the government, obviously. But in the meantime, my point of this call...
How about people earning what they need if they can?
Absolutely. I was a manufacturer. I was told your product doesn't break. We can't sell it. You're ruining the market. We make more money selling a piece of foreign junk. Get out of here. Go do something else. And I went out of business. And so I'm on SNAP. I'm on food stamps. I go to my local food pantry, which is great.
Okay. Well, good luck to you, Steve. I'm glad you called in, and I'm glad that you called in and alerted people how they can avoid theft on their own card, because it does sound like things are going to get pretty desperate out there. I didn't know anything about that. So I thank you for the information, Steve.
Come to get you.
All right. James Golden, Snerdley here with you. 800-848-9222 is how you reach us.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's funny, people are talking about robbing grocery stores because they're not getting their SNAP benefits. But if you're physically able to go rob a store, that means you're physically able to go get a job.
You know how many people I've seen sell food stamps to get their hair done, nails done, their toes done, buy an outfit to go to the club, drugs? A lot. If I've seen it, other people seen it. You know what? That's why people don't give two. I've seen women get a new man. The man got the food stamp. Now, the food stamp is for her and her kids. The man has the food stamp card and he in the grocery store buying that he wants. People see that. You know what? They don't give two. Some kids go to school and get breakfast and lunch, no dinner, because mama and I sold the food stamps for that she wanted. Dumb people don't give two. And people are saying, well, what about my kids? Well, yeah, what about your kids when you had the food stamps? You out there selling them? What did you think about your children then? The that people do, people see that. So now people are like, I don't care. Life is about to start life for a lot of people. But don't get mad when people don't give two, because we see so many people out there abusing that they be like, I don't give a. What about my kids? What about your kids when you was out there doing that with them food stamps? What about your kids then?
Fox has a story today, Fox News. SNAP beneficiaries threaten to ransack stores over government shutdown. They're like, hey, I love Fox Digital, by the way. But no kidding, we've been talking about that for weeks. SNAP beneficiaries have expressed outrage on social media over the government shutdown that could affect their grocery benefits. No kidding. A big case at the Supreme Court coming up. And that's on the tariffs. That's coming up this week. George Will has a piece about that. Illinois has passed a bill banning ICE immigration arrest near courthouses. This, of course, needs to go to the Supreme Court and just needs to be ignored. Tell J.B. Pritzker and the Illinois Democrats to stick this one where the sun doesn't shine. So much. A judge, ladies and gentlemen, has rejected President Donald Trump's voter registration proof of citizenship order. U.S. District Judge, another one of these district judges, Colleen Kolar-Cotelli. Hey, election regulations is the states. You can't tell Democrats, I'm just paraphrasing you, you can't tell Democrats they can't have non-citizens not participating. We're heading out with a little bit of cool this hour, Cool in the Gang. This is, of course, Summer Madness. James Golden. That's Ronald Bell on synths. Hour number uno in the can. Hour number duo coming up. Whatever you do, don't go away. Keep it right here. The Saturday Morning Vibe continues.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. James Golden Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome, my friends. Hour number duo of our Saturday Morning Vibe underway. Glad you're here. Have that first, second, third. If you want to be jittery, maybe even fourth cup of coffee this morning with us. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we always look forward to, the star anchorette of Red Apple Media News, a voice for her generation, our very own Queen Lizzie Radabali is here. Welcome, Lizzie. How are you?
Oh, I am doing well. I feel like I just got coronated. Thank you so much.
Lizzie, listen. I saw there's a story in the Wall Street Journal today about, and you've been talking about this. Yeah. And so I want you to pay attention to the story. It's so long, I can't even get into it today. It is a very lengthy story, but it centers on AI. And let me just give you the quick gist of it. The gist of it is you have all these large companies, some of them with millions of employees, the Amazons, the Walmart, all these huge employees. And they're talking about, and you brought this up, just a week or two ago, about the layoffs that are beginning to happen because they're using AI now to displace some of their workforce. And the plans, this is just getting started.
Yep.
And it's not, I don't want to say it's all doom and gloom, but it's something that people should be aware of, especially if they happen to work for one of these stories. They better be aware of what's going on in some of these big companies. And you, of course, raised your hand on that story weeks back, and it is happening out here.
Yeah, it is really scary. I mean, I feel like AI, like generative AI at this point is like an ex of mine. I am constantly thinking and obsessing. I'm like, oh my gosh, now they're putting AI in this, now they're putting AI in that. And it really is daunting. Like I said, I think, we're not being as cautious as we should be because this technology, it's not like the technological advancements we've made in the past. It's not like, I'm trying to, like the printing press. You know, that's a machine that produces a product. This is a computer that is just a feedback loop that continues to pull information that humans have created, humans put out there. Now this robot is taking it all in, using algorithms, interpreting it, and putting that back out as like an original thing. Like it's just, I don't know. I really am very trepidatious when it comes to this very large, it seems, large-scale embrace of the technology.
We are only at the beginning. We are at the beginning of a revolution. And let me just say, I just disagree with you on one thing. The printing press did change everything and started a revolution.
1,000%.
And so now we are seeing the beginning of another revolution that is going to change society in ways that we can't even figure out here. And on that point, you've been dead on accurate, Lizzie. You have a story today that actually warms my heart. A furloughed IRS lawyer is living out his dream. Tell us about this guy.
So this guy, now he is living his dream of being a hot dog vendor in Washington, D.C. So normally he works as a writer for tax regulations for the IRS. And, you know, he now is not working on any spreadsheets or any of that. He's now selling hot dogs on the streets of D.C. So he calls it Shyster's Dogs. The motto is the only honest ripoff in D.C. And when I read that, I was like, the only honest ripoff in D.C. What's going on here? And then I read 2 lines later, a hot dog and a drink runs $10 or $17. And I was like, oh, that's the ripoff. A hot dog and a drink, $10. But, you know, like I said, he's honest about it. He puts it out there. And this guy, Isaac Stein, who runs this hot dog stand, like I said, he worked for the IRS. He's one of, you know, the hundreds of thousands who are now on furlough. And I think that this story is funny because, you know, it's no matter how you feel about this current government shutdown that we're in, the layoffs, furloughs, how you feel about government workers in general, I do think that something is very inspiring about a second act. This guy saying, oh, you know what? I've lost my job. I'm just sitting around. Let me do something else. Let me find a new passion. And something else that I want to note from this story is he started getting the permits for, like, this was a dream of his over the summer. He wanted to really start to working on this dream, and he got all his permits in late September and then was furloughed on October 8th. So pretty divine timing there too. But like I said, second acts, it really made me think about, you know, everyone has another. Life is short, but life is also long. Life happens. Life takes you places where you never expected. And I think it's funny that now he's just selling hot dogs on the streets of DC when he used to, you know, be wearing a 3-piece suit going into, you know, like I said, write tax regulations. I don't even know what that is, but he also offers a deal. Get this guy, if you give him $1,000, he will give you the shirt off his back. That's one of the deals he offers.
Gotta love it. Okay, so in this, speaking shirts off your back and other clothing, a man has gone viral. He's selling ad space. Now, I thought of this, the first thing I thought of was like the auto races where you see these cars with every logo imaginable on a racing car from a business that wants to put their brand on a racing car. This guy has sold ad space on what? A tuxedo.
Yeah. And when I read this headline, I was like, oh my gosh, I could not imagine being the bride to this guy. Cause first of all, I do want to say, you could find like I said, he went viral. So you could find the images on social media of this guy. He's a French entrepreneur. His name is Dagobert Renouf. Now, he originally tweeted out this idea back in July. He said that, hey, weddings are expensive. I need help paying for it. So I'm offering space on my tuxedo. He had like mock-ups of different areas that companies could buy. And turns out companies were into it. 26 different startups.
This is amazing.
26 different startups all took part in this. Now, I want to circle back. Like I said, to the picture of this guy. Now, the suit, like you could imagine a suit filled with a bunch of ads, not very aesthetically pleasing. He did his best. He kept it very classic black and white, didn't put any real colors that I could see, but they weren't directly sewn onto the suit. They were like patches that were then, I don't know, stuck on the suit or something. Like, it kind of, like, it looked a bit tacky because I pictured, okay, he has a bunch of ads like printed or something, or like I said, at least directly sewn in, but the patches, it was very reminiscent of the race car drivers you talked about. And also his bride, once again, I have to bring up the bride. She is not smiling with any teeth in the photos. She is not smiling with teeth. Now that leads me to believe she's a bit bitter. That bride is bitter because, you know, I hate when people say this. People online will say when men do certain things, oh, that's a female trait. But this guy, he made the entire wedding all about him now he's like headline
Lizzie,
news.
He's taking for the wet Lizzie.
But he paid for the wedding. That's supposed to be all about the bride, but now it's all about him and this stupid tuxedo full of patchy ads. So, you know, that's a female trait to me. That is a female trait.
Lizzie. In the old days, Lizzie, paying for the wedding was the responsibility of the bride's family, okay? Lizzie,
well, you know, guess what? We live in modern days.
Lizzie, the guy stepped up. Lizzie.
I don't know.
He stepped up.
Stepping up would be, I don't know, dipping into your savings or getting a job. Give up the entrepreneur life, dude.
He did a job. He
did a job. He posted on Twitter and got a bunch of startups excited to be on his tuxedo, which I am looking at the companies sideways who all took part in this, and they're all startups. So who knows what will even be of these companies.
He could have sold space to be part of the honeymoon night. He didn't. Give him some credit.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the only credit I will give him is that poor credit for the actual look of the suit. He failed in making that aesthetically pleasing. At least he didn't do crazy colors, but the patches, it's just tacky, ugly, and I don't like the people.
Women.
I'm sorry, I don't like
women.
Everyone being like,
always
this
complain.
is a great idea.
No matter what you do, there's going to be a woman complaining about it.
What you do? Wear a normal tuxedo to your wedding. How about that? Like, why are you selling? He's walking down the aisle with a bunch of
paid for it.
I want to say,
and again, all you were hearing here are complaints.
Half of the ads were AI companies. I just want to say.
Oh, so there we got it, Lizzie. Lizzie, he got her done. He got her done.
I don't know. I give it like 5 months based off the bride's closed tooth smile, closed lip smile. She was not showing teeth, like I said. She was tight-lipped.
All right, so if you're expecting a package in the mail, and you're this is not funny. I'm sorry. This is not funny, Lizzie. It's not funny. It's not funny.
It's pretty funny.
It's not funny.
I wouldn't give it to you if it wasn't funny, Bo.
Okay. You just go ahead and a woman is expecting to get her medications in the mail, Lizzie. What did she get?
She got a bunch of human hands and fingers. Now,
no.
Yeah, I didn't even think a lot of people shocked by this headline just off the basis of, I didn't even know that they just sent hands and fingers via delivery service. I figured that would be like a courier or like someone, I don't know, I pictured all those medical shows. They show the guy rushing with like a styrofoam box holding the organ, and he's in a helicopter, and he gets in the helicopter, goes to the ambulance. I didn't expect like some, package delivery service to be handling actual human body parts. Now, this happened, like you said, this was in Kentucky, and she was expecting medication, but this specific delivery service, it specializes in medical supplies and apparently cadaver parts as well. And the box was originally supposed to go towards surgical training, but somehow it ended up in her front porch. And when I first read this story, immediately what popped into my head was a hypothetical scenario where not only obviously this woman was shocked getting this box of human hands and fingers, but I try to imagine a porch pirate. Those are the people who steal the packages. People who steal the packages off of people's front stoops.
Yes.
What if they took a package like this? What is the porch pirate's reaction to, got a bunch of human hands and fingers? Especially if this porch pirate is like expecting like this woman to get medication, cause they do that now. Like there's scammers who can like look into your, delivery history, like through like back ends of FedEx. They like hack into FedEx and all this. I picture someone who hacked into this medical service, saw that she was getting some medication. They were like, ooh, I'm going to steal this medication, flip it for $1. But then they ended up with human cadaver parts. That is just, that to me, that's like a beautiful horror story for Halloween.
It's like, it certainly is.
Very timely, this story.
Very
honestly.
timely, Lizzie. Oh, Lizzie finds the best, folks.
I really try.
You do a great job at it, Lizzie. Thank you so much, as always.
Thank you so much.
Our very own Lizzie Radabali, ladies and gentlemen.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
James Golden, Snerdley here with you. Later on in the program, we have coming up Paul Stone. We're going to talk about entitlements with Paul in a bit. Also later on, Princess Diana is going to be here. Cannot wait for Her Majesty, Her Royal Majesty-ness to join us, as well as America's Small Caffeinated Mom, Rhonda Schrock, is going to be here. And right now, let us head back to the telephones very quickly and check in California. Of course, Veronica is on the line from out there on the left coast of America. Hi, Veronica.
Hey, Bo. This is Veronica, Ronnie. How are you going to talk?
How you doing?
I'm fine. Hey, Bo, I propose that when this government opens up again, that there should be an amendment that the military is paid regardless. They're expected to be ready at a moment's notice to lay their lives down for the protection of this country. And if anybody deserves to be paid, they should be paid.
Amen. I don't understand how we get into this situation where quote unquote essential workers are there, blah, 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 and have to work. But no matter what, you are right. No matter what, the funding should always be in place for the American military to be paid, Ronnie. That is a great idea. Let me see if we have time to grab one more. We'll have to keep it short. Thank you for your call. Maria in Long Island, I've got about a minute. You got to make it quick.
I will. Good morning, my friend. I've been a part of 7 different shutdowns, but the people of this country don't understand. Our government can't come to an agreement, and it's wrong. It's really wrong. I don't know why I'm more mad now, because I'm retired. After 32 years for one of the agencies, we weren't essential, and I understand all that. But we got paid anyway. Everybody got paid. But now we got the people with the SNAP program and everything, and I want everybody to work. I want everybody in this country to have a job, but I don't understand why I'm mad now than I was before. You know, they got to come to an agreement. They should not do this. This is not good, my friend. This is not good when our government can't come to a budget agreement. They're playing with lives. They're playing with the government. And I'm going to just be honest about that. And Donna Summer sang that song. She worked hard for the money too, love.
Yeah, the different kind of work than government work, but at the same time, a different set of rewards as well. But nonetheless, yes, worked hard for the money. I love it. Mixes the politics with the music, just like we do. See, our callers are just amazing. Thank you so much for the call, Maria. And she kept it right on the timeline that we needed to, because we have to briefly stop down. We're going to come back with Paul Stone, and I want to talk more about entitlements with Paul. And with you, 800-848-9222 is how you reach us. It is the Saturday Morning Vibe. 800-848-9222 is how you reach us. And, ladies and gentlemen, again, keep it here. Princess Di coming, America's Small Caffeinated Mom, and you. Whatever you do, Do not go away.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Right now, we have been teasing his appearance. Paul Stone joins us. Paul, tell people the name of your book, please. And you can find Paul's book on Amazon. We had Paul on the weekday show a few weeks ago, and we talked about the book. We're going to talk about something else today, but I want you to be aware of his book. Welcome, Paul. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. Yep, 1971, the book. You can go to thebook1971.com and look at it a little closer. It's on Amazon.
1971. And I explained to the audience earlier, one of the premises in your book is, look, we, the world, not just us, but the United States got off track. We all got off track when Nixon took us off the gold standard, and we began printing money with nothing behind it. And that is one of the premises, and it goes from there. So people, please look for 1971. That's Paul Stone's book. But Paul, you and I were speaking, and I want to just carry on the conversation that you and I had earlier in the week offline about entitlement. The entitlement society. Now, Paul, just please bear with me a moment. I want to play something from a former president of the United States to set this conversation off. It is Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, but liberals pronounce it Bill Clinton. From Bill Clinton from 1996, when Bill Clinton was still in office. This is of course, the days of the Oral Office and the blue stained dress and all of that. But President Clinton.
Nearly 30 years ago, Robert Kennedy said, "Work is the meaning of what this country is all about. We need it as individuals. We need to sense it in our fellow citizens. And we need it as a society and as a people." He was right then, and it's right now. From now on, our nation's answer to this great social challenge will no longer be a never-ending cycle of welfare. It will be the dignity, the power, and the ethic of work. Today we are taking an historic chance to make welfare what it was meant to be, a second chance, not a way of life. This bill will help people to go to work so they can stop drawing a welfare check and start drawing a paycheck. It is now clearly better to go to work than to stay on welfare. Clearly better because of actions taken.
Now, that we have on and on. It goes on for another 3 minutes, but that's the theme of it. Supposedly, the age of big welfare was over. Supposedly, we were going to turn the corner and become a society more invested in the work ethic and less invested in the welfare ethic. And yet today, with the government shutdown, we see 42 million Americans are on food stamps, not to mention the other one that's driving for the Democrats this issue, the unaffordable health care program with massive subsidies, not to mention other entitlement spending. Paul, what is your take on where we are at as a nation with entitlements?
You know, I think if I could paint this little picture, I think it would create a stirring feeling inside everyone who's listening, inside of yourself. But let's look at the numbers just for a second. If 1 out of 8 people in the country that can print all the money it wants are on government handouts. Now, you know, no human has a massive amount of self-pride and a force within itself if its life is subject to being fueled by food, right? That comes as a handout. We want to create. It is innate inside of all human beings to want to create or be part of creation, productivity, a team, accomplishment. And so it kills me. I got to first say, though, what kills me about what Bill Clinton is saying is he is also the one who literally opened the back door for all of our corporations to go have 74,000 manufacturing firms have closed their doors and gone to China or India or Mexico since that speech, because he gave China favored trade nation status. What does that mean to everyone who's listening? It means we don't have any tariffs on anything coming from being made in China back into America, but it was American companies that did the leaving. So when you're talking about absolutely the work that we do and the work that humans have done since they were raking, harvesting cotton in Egypt has always been a source of pride because the results of the work shows that we're propelling our life through our years. We're the ones creating the sustenance for our existence, not a handout. So I want to point then next to, hey, oh my God, the solution will not only not come from the government, but the destruction will. So here's the consciousness, right, that we want to just take a quick look at. What if the government left? Like, they just left. Okay? Just think about it. Now, how would these 42 million Americans get taken care of? Oh my God, GoFundMe? Could the Americans with huge hearts and many with huge earnings take care of their brothers and sisters that need some help? Could GoFundMe satisfy the needs of those who would frickin' starve to death in their little abodes or on the streets because they weren't eating? Yeah. They would. America would. And you know what? That's the reality. That's what we would have to trust because that's who helped the people coming off the wooden ships when they came here from Europe and they were out of food because they're on the boat for 2 months. People fed them. That's what it is to be human. It is to give. And it is not to create a system where people become dependent on a system that is nothing more than handouts. $226 billion a year is what is needed to give the people an average of $500 a month.
Wait a minute, run those numbers by me one more time.
If you just average out and look at what 42 million people would need for the year, and the average SNAP payment is about $450 a month, that's $226 billion a year. So not only are we ridiculous for expecting the government to just keep printing that money and handing it out to people, which continues to make the damage done worse, too, costs going higher faster than they can increase the SNAP payment amount or faster than people's payrolls can overcome the cost of living. When they print money to fuel these programs, it causes everyone else to be in agony unless you're in the top, 10, 15, 20%. My point is, just let that sit, though. What if it was GoFundMe? And why can't the government just turn on a GoFundMe account right now before these people lose their money so people in America could just pitch in? And, oh, my God, what if we looked at St. Jude or any huge charity that does have a little application process to see if your child fits getting cancer treatment for free and no cost to the family whatsoever? What if that model was used by Americans to help qualify and disperse funds back to people that really need help for a little while, getting something to eat? GoFundMe would be a better application of assistance from American citizens directly to American citizens than the government doing it.
This is radical. I mean, I've heard radical ideas before, but look, let me just go back to it. There was a book, and I know Princess Diana is going to remember the name of this book. There was a book that came out in either the late 90s or early 2000s that was about charity. And the fact that most of what the government does now, that they call compassion, was done by charity. The charity, people helping other people directly instead of charity being an enforced notion by the government. And that's pretty much what you're talking about.
Yes, I'm talking about reality. I'm talking about if there was no government, they just sailed away. They're like, you know what, this job sucks. Everyone's mad at us and we never win and we never do anything right. We can see it now and we're just leaving. So now the government's gone. This weekend, when you wake up on Monday, there's no government. There's no government. Okay, how do things happen, right? We would figure it out. Governors, 50 presidents are in charge of this country by design when the Constitution was written. Not one old person who sits in one city is in charge of 50 governments, 50 states. It's not the way it was designed. Obviously, this wouldn't work, but that's how it is today, because the government can print money and become literally 1,600% bigger than it was when Reagan was sworn in 1981. 1,600% bigger.
It is astounding.
Yeah.
Paul, it is astounding. Look, my friend, that is the time we have with you. I just want to thank you so much. And again, where can people find your book?
It's on Amazon. There's a little website about it, thebook1971.com.
All right. Paul Stone, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I'm angry. I'm angry that my environment is not a result of all my hard work. I am angry because I can't see the fruits of my labor. I am sick of hoping. I am sick of waiting. The amount of patience that I have for everyone and everything is monumental. And don't nobody or anything have patience for me when I'm supposed to learn something or do something or get something. So I don't care if it's coming in the future. I don't care if it's a part of my journey. I have a right to be mad that that shit not here now.
James Golden Snerdley, let us head back to the telephones. Dom is calling in from Minnesota. Dom, how are you? We've got just a few minutes here. How you doing?
Yeah, good morning, James. You know, great segment with Lizzie, especially the groom with the marketing ads. I'm starting to get ideas. Also, your chat with Marvin about the government going away, it's very simple and easy. Turn the government into AI and we're done. Nobody to complain to, yelling at the machine. That's about it. And they'll find a way to live their life. But I called about, I have a good friend that works at a nonprofit which administers the SNAP program in Minnesota. She has personally seen more than a few SNAP recipients go to stores like Louis Vuitton, Coach, and Chanel 5 and buy stuff from there. And I know for a fact that it's a penalty if you do stuff like that in your EBT card. I don't even know how these stores sell those things. So, and she also says they drive cars when they come to work that she could not even afford. So
let me tell you something about the fraud. Let me tell you how this is done. And I'm not accusing these stores. I want to be very clear. I'm not saying any of these stores he mentioned were involved with it. But let me tell you how these SNAP scams work. Some of these people get loaded on their cards. Folks, we're not just talking a few $100. Some of these people have thousands and thousands of dollars loaded on these cards, however they claimed it, however they got it. Okay? And so what they do, let's say you have a card for $3,000. You go and you sell that card to a retail outlet or an unscrupulous entity, put it like that, for $2,000. Or you sell it for $1,000 in some cases. They make the $3,000 for them. They're just spending $1,000 to buy $2,000 more in profit. This entire system for the people that are scamming it. And again, I don't know the numbers, how many people are doing it, but we do know this. We know people are using SNAP benefits for all kind of things. To get their nails done, to get their hair done. We see the recipients talking about this stuff. We know about this. They sell the benefits. We know that there are unscrupulous retailers that now have fraudulent EBT things set up to take EBT cards when they are not authorized to. And somehow or another, they get government payoffs. I don't know how the details of the criminality works because, frankly, I'm not a criminal. But we do know that this system is being wildly abused. Go ahead, Dom.
Yeah, when I applied for my green card and later my citizenship many decades ago, the application form, I still remember today, included a phrase that said, I will not be dependent on the federal government financial assistance under penalty of perjury. And also for me, it's a matter of personality. It was a matter of shame to ask for any federal assistance, even though I was between jobs. So I said, my friend said, I can apply for this thing, whatever the program was called back then. I said, no, I'm not going to depend on anybody. I just went and worked, it's a pizza joint. I worked at a coffee center. Wasn't enough money, but I could not, in good conscience, even apply for that. People don't have shame anymore.
This is a major component. And I need to be really careful about this too, because let me tell you a story. I remember having this attitude about it, and I was talking with a young girl. I was quite enamored with her when I was in high school. And I'm going on and on and on about how, welfare this, welfare that, welfare this. And she looks at me with this beautiful look and said, my family is on assistance. We need the help. I felt like a total jackass. And they were working hard and they needed help. And then, of course, I remembered my own family talking about in the Depression era, how they were a family of 12, how for a brief time they needed help. We need to be compassionate. But what we are seeing now, I don't think is compassion. Maybe that's something I'm going to speak about with Princess Diana. Anyway, thank you, Dom. Always love hearing from you. If you're on hold, we're going to try to grab your calls if we can. 800-848-9222 is the numbers. Our number duo in the can. Our number trio coming up. In this hour coming up, Princess Diana will be with us. The Ness of all Nesses. And, of course, America's Small Caffeinated Mom will be here, too. So whatever you do, stick around. Do not go away.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Here we are, my friends. So quickly, our number trio is upon us. Our number trio means this.
It's time for Radio Royalty with James Golden and America's Princess of Policy, Princess Di.
She is the goodness. She is the highness. She is the ness of all nesses. My liege is in the house. Look at my liege. Where the hell did that word come from? You know where every word comes. My liege.
Well, I would guess it's from the French, that has that feel to it. I would have to look it up. Sorry.
My liege.
Hello,
my liege.
Sir James. Sir James Ness.
Yes, Princess Diana Ness is in the house. My liege. I love those words. You know what, by the way, I don't know whether, this is just a quick aside, and I don't know why I just thought of it. You know I'm a sucker for British programming, so I watch a lot of British stuff when I have time to watch. And then I watch all these shows. I shouldn't even admit it. Like, I watch all these remakes and the reboots of, like, they always do two words like pride and prejudice, sense and sensibility. And I watch this crap, and while I'm watching it, I'm saying to myself, why are you watching this? This is just totally ridiculous. But anyway, but part of it is the language, because I love the language, and I'm just like, and then when I go back, Princess, and I read some of the, like, I try to read the Federalist Papers, to be honest with you. I have a hard time because the language is so elevated in a way from how we speak today. And you actually do have to think about it as you're reading. What does that mean? Almost every other. What does that mean? What does this mean? it's amazing how language has changed over the centuries.
Yes, and I think that's true with Shakespeare as well. It is a slog to just understand, the West's greatest writer of William Shakespeare. I do think one of the reasons we find these things difficult is because we are not, as a society, as familiar with the King James Version of the Bible. That used to be studied and as a weekly and daily experience of most Americans early on, and so that old language and the denseness of it and the challenge of it was more familiar. And so I think one of the answers to your query is we need to get back to the Bible. It does not have to be King James.
All right, now let us talk about. First of all, you asked me if I could play that piece again because there was something that you wanted to say about it. How about we do that right now?
Good.
Okay.
I think 29 of being furloughed, and Halloween's in 2 days, and I'm just now going to get my kids' Halloween costumes because I have not had the funds for that. Like, just genuinely, we have not had the funds for that. The only reason I'm even able to do this now is because I had to pull from my retirement, and mind you, I've only been there less than a year, so I asked them, what do y'all want? And they're showing me things, and I'm like, we can't get the $30 costume y'all are wanting right now because there's 4 of y'all. It's not feasible. We don't know how long this is gonna last. And I'm just so, ashamed, like I did something wrong. And it's so hurtful because I get the cause, I get the reason why. And I know people are going through a lot with SNAP benefits being possibly cut. I get it. But most, if not all, I'm willing to bet federal employees before this did not receive SNAP benefits or any type of assistance, period. And now with everything happening, and it takes forever to get, trust and believe, I've worked myself up to get here where I'm at. I've been on food stamps. I did everything right. Everything right. I was in the Army. I've done everything. I'm 31 years old, and I have 5 months left on my master's. I've done everything right. The circumstances I've had to deal with in life, I beat those odds time and time again. And nobody cares. Nobody sees us at all. It's like we're put to the back burner. And now everybody's making a fuss because of that going away, which again is horrible, should not, period. Point blank, I've been on there. I get it. You do what you gotta do, but what about us? What about us? What about us? We have kids. Like I said, we're not getting benefits. We're not. And the money's not coming in. Apply for jobs, bro. You don't think that's what I'm doing. You don't think that's what I'm doing. They don't call. And you heard my credentials. I have so many freaking certifications in IT, CCNA, Security Plus, you name it. I have it. Go Uber. If y'all didn't hear my story about my cars, you would know why I can't Uber and stuff right now. I'm in a freaking rental car. And I'm not crying because I can't buy the $30 Halloween costume. That's not the point. The point is,
Princess Diana, every time I hear it, it's tears in my eyes from this woman.
It is wrenching. And I think it's very important, especially for our generation, the boomers, to hear that heart cry. And I think that this information has been coming to us for many years now, from Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, all the other younger generations, and they react with anger when we say things like just work hard and play by the rules, just keep going, it'll get better, because that echoes what we experienced. We had hard times when we were young. We had challenges. We had the Jimmy Carter presidency when home ownership was out of reach. Mortgage loans were impossible. You know, you had double-digit mortgage rates, you had double-digit inflation and double-digit unemployment. We had tough times. And so we basically look at these situations that the younger generations experience and see it as something familiar, and it'll be okay. It isn't the same. And I mentioned months back some of the differences, one of which is college loans. Now, she mentioned she did everything right. She's getting a master's. She's credentialed. The social contract with how it used to be, if you worked hard and went to college and, quote, unquote, did everything right, then you would have, economic feeling of a upward mobility. And that used to be true. It is not true now. That social contract has been destroyed by Democrat policies. You've got all of the costs that are overwhelming to these generations, these younger generations. Health insurance is not affordable. And if you get it, which, a lot of people try, you can't use it because your deductibles are too high. The cost of childcare sometimes is the amount of money you have coming in, 80% of it is going to childcare. The cost of living, the cost of student loans paying back. Home ownership is a pipe dream. You basically have now the destruction of the middle class, and I believe it has been deliberate. Because one of the things in America that stopped the growth worldwide in the early part of the 1900s of communism was this growing middle class, this idea that if you were self-reliant, if you had delayed gratification, all of those things, that self-government would work. You had upward mobility. It may take time and it took work, but you could save. You might get the little house with the picket fence possibly, but you would have more economic satisfaction as you worked hard. And that then bred hope. That bred excellence, the work ethic, all the things that this country relies on and that our generation benefited from. If you remember, we made our trajectory start in our working world in the 80s with the Reagan administration, when we got to keep more of our money. And to this day, the trajectory of our personal economic situation is strong for most of us, not everybody. But because we made our biggest nuts in the 80s and 90s, we are in sort of traditional American style, more comfortable than we would have been if we had made those same years in the Carter administration. Now, what this younger generations have is a mess. The trajectory they're on is poverty. And so this is what introduces a mamdami. This is why when people promise you're going to have free stuff, it rings true because there's no alternative. There's no sense, well, hey, I want to work within the system. I want to, do my own energy, attain my own dreams. There is no such dream because it has been destroyed by Democrat policies, Democrat ideology, Democrat regulations, Democrat lack of law enforcement, so businesses cannot flourish because there's so much crime. So as I mentioned last week, liberalism is the gateway drug to communism, and that is what we're seeing, and it is horribly dangerous because if the generations coming up do not believe in the American dream, they won't invest in the American dream. And so this, to me, is a state of emergency, and what we're seeing now, sort of writ large with the government shutdown, where people, we have heard for a long time people live paycheck to paycheck. They don't have even $500 for any kind of emergency. We have been on the knife edge of this for years, and now it's starting to show where people are desperate because everything is being pulled out from under them. And so to me, one of the things that's really important is for people to hold on because in my opinion, I've been saying that we will start to feel the wealth of America, which is traditional with a capitalist system, will start coming back under the Trump administration. All of his policies are leading to that. We have trillions of dollars coming back in, but as I warned, I said it's going to take a while. And before it kicks in, I said it would probably take about a year. There is this sense of, I will turn to any source because I can't live like this. And so many younger people feel that way, that they're, and this contributes to this lack of faith. There is no God. It has this domino effect of despair. And I think that we're seeing the beginning of that. And if people can just hear my words, our national motto is in God we trust. It is not in the government. It is not in SNAP. It is in the Lord. And so we need to focus and keep our eyes there and have faith that the policies that are in place by the president that we elected last November, that these will bring more prosperity, and we're going to start feeling it in the next few months. So that's my message, just to hold on, because it really will get better. And if the younger generations can feel that sense that the American dream is once again graspable, that will change the entire trajectory of the whole nation.
That is so profound. Everything you just outlined there is so profound. First of all, this needs to be an editorial, and you need to write this. This is something that many people need to be exposed to also in print. So that's my suggestion. We got to take a quick break. James Golden, Snerdley, Princess Diana is here. That was profound. And we're going to come back. I'm going to ask Princess Diana to stick around.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Your Highness, I'm still blown away by your analysis there. What I'd like to do, Your Highness, is take some calls with you, and I'm going to have you hold us through the next segment too. I want to get started with the calls. People, you have to get right to your point. Time is short. We start in Staten Island. Mark, you're on with Snerdley and Princess Diana. What is the point you'd like to make?
Good morning. I'm not sure I understand how they're raising the unemployment and this entitlement, giving no incentive for people to actually work. I mean, everything is free. Food, bus. They want to make the bus, the unemployment. And why would somebody want to work when he's going to sit home and make more money than he can when he's working?
Princess?
He's exactly right. And that is a damaging mental point of view, because the system cannot survive. It's not sustainable, and it will collapse, which always happens with communism, which is what you get with the free lunch. There is no such thing.
And that is what is being promised in New York with Mondami, and we're going to raise the minimum wage. We're going to freeze rents and screw the landlords, and we're going to give you free stuff, and more free stuff. Oh, man. Princess Di is here, folks. We're going to take a few more calls with Princess Di. James Golden, Snerdley, whatever you do, Saturday Morning Vibe continues, so why don't you continue with us and keep it right here.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
James Golden, Snerdley with Princess Di is here. I promised callers we'd get to them. We're going to do a version of Rapid Phones. Get to your point, please. If you're on the phones, Paul from Queens, what is the point you would like to make?
Yes.
I can't hear you. Sound like you're calling from a cave. Try again. Okay, we can't. Phone line's bad. We can't.
Hang on.
Okay, you gotta go quickly. Anyway, we're done. Jerry, Long Island, you're up next.
Good morning, Bo. I just want to know, with that lady with the Halloween costumes, where is her husband paying alimony to her?
Where is her parents, her family, that would, if this was so serious, that her friends would help her out? Something doesn't sound right with her.
You know what? People don't like to beg. And there are a lot of people whose, thank God, their inner pride will not let them beg when they're in difficulties. They try to work it out herself. Where's her husband? Who knows? What does it matter? This is a woman who has worked hard all her life. Why would you attack this woman? This woman has played by the rules. Her comment that broke me up, I feel so ashamed that she can't provide for her kids, ought to tell you every single thing you need to know about this woman's character. And instead, what do we get? Where's her husband? Who the hell cares? Who knows? You should be asking where's the husband when you hear these EBT queens saying I got 7 babies and I'm mad at you for not paying my bill. Not this woman who's working her ass off for her family. I'm sorry, Princess Di, would you like to add a more compassionate tone than mine?
I'm going to add my amen to what you said.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Chris in New Jersey, you're up next. How are you?
Hey, Bo, thanks for taking the call. I'm just fine on a beautiful day like this. 2 quick points. These are personal experiences I've had with people needing help getting food. And this goes back 20 years, and this goes to your point. Let's get back to basics. Let's get back to our values. The first one is a little bit unusual. Driving down a street in Cairo, Egypt, and my friend brought me to the end of the road, and there was a little shack, about 12 foot by 12 foot, one bare light bulb hanging down, hot wired into the utility pole next to it, one mattress on the floor. Right next to that, in a little yard, was a man with a very young child on his shoulders, so happy, both of them laughing, living life. He had a stick. He's poking through a huge pile of garbage. He was employed. What was his job? He was the garbage collector. He would go through the little community there, bring the garbage to that pile, and then he would sort through it and find things that he could use and sell. Second experience was living in New York City, Upper East Side, nice neighborhood. At night, I would go out as a volunteer. I would talk to the security guard walking the block, and he told me one night, he had to go back after work to see some of his people who were living underground. I said, what do you mean they're living underground? He said they take up a manhole, and they go down into the abandoned subway tunnels, and they live down there. And there's a community of them down there. And these are immigrants who don't have papers. The kids go to school. They come up in the morning, they go to school, they come back, they go back down there, they hot wire into the local utility lines down there to get their lights, and they manage to get food somehow. But these are proud people working, trying to build a better life. Those are my 2 experiences of let's get back to values.
Princess Diana, want to comment on those 2 examples?
Well, it just shows human resources and the basic ability of mankind to find good where in the midst of scarcity. But we want the system of the American freedom and liberty to be what enables people to move up by work. And so that is the ideal. We do not want to be thinking of, a shack, hot wiring to the electric poles or underground. That is not our American dream.
Thank you. Kyle, you're going to have to really make this quick because we got to go. But I want to give you at least a minute here. Kyle from Rockland County says he's a teacher and wants to talk about the future of kids. What is the point you'd like to make, Kyle?
Hi, Bo. Thanks for taking my call. I had to pull the car over because what Princess Di said was unbelievably raw and just honest. And as a teacher, the kids still equate college with success. The parents still equate college with success, but they also walk around saying, like, the future is dim. So I'm at a loss for exactly what direction we're headed in. But the kids have got to go somewhere between 7 a.m. and 4 p.m. So I'm just, as a teacher, I'm starting to wonder if I'm part of the problem, to be honest with you, because what Princess Di said was right on, is completely true. It's where we're headed is in a very dangerous direction economically, with the middle class just disappearing, and I don't know exactly what to do.
Okay, thank you for the call. I appreciate that. Any words for Kyle, Princess Diana?
Absolutely. And he is not part of the problem. He is part of the solution, and that is to continue to point to all of his students to give them hope. There are many trades that we can encourage students to think about rather than college. There's welding, there's plumbing, there's electric. AI is not going to take those things away. If you need a plumber, AI is not going to address that. And those are excellent careers that you can, to this day, you can manage to raise a family on. And so that is an alternative way of thinking. And as a teacher, that is something that you can suggest to give out kids. There are things that this country will help you do and that you can then help your fellow Americans and prosper.
I'll tell you what, I have a friend of mine that's much younger than I am who just sold his electric company. He's an electrician. He and his wife retired. They sold the electric company that they built for $20 million.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the way. There electric. You go.
Princess Diana, thank you so much. As always, what an inspiration. I want to, if we can, maybe talk this week, or if we can figure it out, I want to talk to you about Obamacare, the Unaffordable Act, but I didn't want to get into all that today after that profound analysis you gave, but we need to talk about Obamacare.
I would love to. Can I just leave you with one quote from Rush? Liberals measure compassion by how many people get government assistance. Conservatives measure compassion by how many no longer need it.
Amen to that. Princess Diana, thank you so much. James Golden, Snerdley here. Ladies and gentlemen, when we get back, America's small caffeinated mom will join us. James Golden, Snerdley, America.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Time now for America's small caffeinated mom, Rhonda Schrock. Rhonda, good morning. How are you?
I'm caffeinated and ready to roll, James. I really missed you the last 2 weeks, and so I'm thrilled to be back.
It is so nice to hear your voice, Rhonda. What is on your mind this morning?
Well, 2 or 3 weeks ago, you played a clip that just struck me straight in my heart, and I've been thinking about it ever since. It came after the National Guard were deployed to Memphis, Tennessee. I did not really realize the situation in Memphis, that back in 2024, they had the distinction of having the highest rate of violent crime per capita in the country. And so the National Guard went in, and after the streets were calming down, a mother from Memphis recorded herself sitting on her front porch one day. You played that clip, and I have not forgotten it since. And I want to just read her words. This is what she said. I've been in my home for 5 years, and for the first time in 5 years, my kids have been able to play in the backyard and be able to do it comfortably. I haven't heard a gunshot in 2 weeks. I haven't seen any strange people walk up and down the street. I'm sitting on my porch right now, and I'm watching kids outside playing. People outside walking with their kids. Stuff I've never seen before in my neighborhood, all because we feel safe in this environment. She added this, and I thought it was a nugget of wisdom. I truly feel that this is a Band-Aid to the problem. I don't think it's truly going to fix everything, but to have a moment of peace, just thank you, Jesus. James, I grew up playing outside. I never fully understood that the ability to play outside in innocence and safety was my birthright. It is the birthright of every child to just be able to play outside beneath a spreading sky in safety with no fear of a stray bullet catching you, with the fresh air on your face and in your lungs, to be able to bike and run and play with your friends without worrying about strangers that are going by your house. I am just shocked that this is not, I mean, I know it cognitively, but to really begin to see and hear that many children are being essentially kept prisoners in their own homes and apartments is just heartbreaking to me. My own children grew up outside. They worked in the garden. They played. They put up tents in the summer. They would leave the tent up the whole entire summer. It looked like a KOA campground in the backyard, and they would go in and out of the tent and sleep well at night because they had all that fresh air and exercise, never understanding that that was their birthright. Whether it's a city lot or it's acres in the country, children need to be able to work and play freely. But that is not all they need. For the proper care and feeding of children, as I think of it, they need a stable family unit. Ideally, as you and I both know, that will include a mother and a father. That's the ideal. That's what is best. But when that is not possible, they need a stable mother, a stable father to raise them. And I know in this day and age, there are grandparents who have now had to step up, and God bless them and strengthen them. There are many grandparents who are stepping up to fill that role. So when there is love at home and when there's order in the home, regardless if it's a mom and a dad or it's grandparents or it's a mom, regardless of the situation, if there is love and order in the home, children can thrive even in difficult conditions. Our children deserve to have parents who are people of character and who model the virtues that they need, the virtues that we build civilized societies on. Kids deserve to have that example in their homes. And those virtues include integrity, responsibility, hard work, kindness, compassion, generosity, just to name a few. And when parents fail to be people of character and fail to model those virtues, that is a disservice to children because it leaves them to find those on their own if they ever find them at all. And a child should never have to be in that situation. I'm plowing the road for my children. I want it to be as easy as possible for them to be men of character and integrity, Children deserve to have boundaries and discipline. They just do, especially in the early years, because when you apply boundaries and discipline rightly, it trains them to develop internal controls as they grow. And adults who are self-controlled will not likely need external controls. And the external controls would be prison, would be consequences that come through the law. That isn't necessary if we are self-controlled people because we are governed by a higher law. We don't have to have government punishments and restrictions in place to keep us in check. That is not the ideal. It can be disheartening to look at the condition of our culture today. I sometimes just simply have to pull away from social media for a while. There are so many broken homes, so many dysfunctional homes and people, so much crime, and in so many places, growing numbers of people with a blatant disregard and an actual hatred for the rule of law. We can have law and order, or we will have lawlessness and disorder. And if it's the latter, our society will eventually collapse. This is reflective of our inner condition. Laws, I know this, laws alone are powerless to change hearts and minds, and that's where all behavior springs from, is from our inner condition, what we're believing, because what we believe affects what we do. So when you believe rightly, you will do rightly. And a nation full of people who are believing and doing what is right is a nation at peace, and it is a nation that will prosper. Meanwhile, as we're waiting and we're praying and we're hoping for national change, what can we do? I reflected on that because you can just feel powerless. What can we do? This is what I know. I can't pass laws. I can't make people change, but I can help those around me want to by being the kind of person who models the virtues that I described above, especially to the children. It has taken us a long time to get to where we are. It will take time to get back to where we ought to be. So in my daily life, I find ways to bless and encourage the children around me, to draw from my own well of hope. And I love what Diana was saying about how the young people, the young generations of today need hope. And so in order to share hope, you have to have hope in your own heart, your own well to draw from. But we can do it. And if we model compassion, hope, love, faith, all of those for the children around us, perhaps one heart, one life at a time, change will begin to come. And here is what I have learned. It has changed my life, that everyone I meet is someone else's child.
Every single one. And that is something we should not forget, Rhonda, ever.
Yes, yes.
You know what? And that just a quick tangent to that. You know, one of the most difficult things in life is remembering that, and remembering that we say it because we've heard it, how you should love your enemies, how you should love people even when you should turn the other cheek in situations. It's so hard to do that when you feel that you have been wronged by somebody. But when you think about this whole concept, what you just said, remembering that we are all somebody's child. And who are we all children of?
Oh, yes. It's so important. It will change how we live when we remember that.
Who are we all children of? Rhonda, thank you.
My pleasure.
Where can people find the essay and where can they find you?
Every Child's Birthright is on thedailybs.com, and my website is rhondaschrock.com. Come and say hi.
Thank you, Rhonda. So good to have you back.
Thank you so much.
Well, folks, we got a special goodbye today. Kelvin told me before the show that he's going to be moving on to do some new and exciting things with his life. And I cannot tell you how much I love this guy. He has been amazing. He's one of the voices. You've heard his voice, making sure that everything is running smooth here on our Saturday Vibe. We're going to miss you so much, Kelvin, but we wish you nothing but the bright, promising future that you deserve. God bless you. We love you, Kelvin.
Love you guys too.
That's it for this week, folks. We'll leave you with some Ronald Bell. Still celebrating Ronald Bell. We celebrated David Foster today, and Ronald Bell especially. Eva Cassidy, we did not get a chance to play, but she passed away in 1996. She's just an amazing talent, too. We meant to get to her. Katie Lang had a birthday. Happy birthday, Katie Lang. Anyway, here we are, 3 hours that quickly. So, may God bless and protect each and every single one of you. Your families, your loved ones. Love and gratitude always for your being here with me, allowing me to be with you. Thank you, crew, all of you. We'll see you later. I bid you adieu. Bye.
Thanks for listening to The James Golden Show. You can hear The James Golden Show Saturday mornings at 7. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder,
what the heck is going on here?